Let the king of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, he is my song. Let the king of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, he is my song. You are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Let the king of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. Let the king of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, he is my song. You are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. You're never gonna let me down. 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 You're never gonna when the night is holding on to me, God is holding on. When the night is holding on to me, God is holding on.
One thing that a lot of people know about me is that I am a big fan of Apple products. It wasn't always this way. It started when I was in college and I got my first iPod. It was an iPod Nano. It was about this big, this thick, had the little click wheel in order to navigate all of my songs. couple years after that, I started my career and I got my first Mac. It was a MacBook Pro. Along with it came an iPod Touch. So within a year, when it was time for me to upgrade to a new phone, if I was going to get a smartphone, of course I was going to get an iPhone, and the beautiful new iPhone 4 had just come out. Within a couple years, I then had an iPad, and then a couple years after that, an Apple Watch, and then AirPods, and then finally a HomePod. Now, HomePods aren't the most popular or best-selling of all of Apple's products, but it is pretty fantastic. It is a smart speaker with incredible sound. For the last couple of years, I had it in my office in our basement, and just in the last couple of months, I moved it up to our living room, where it's getting its true use, its true design case of being used by 3 kids to play Disney music and to ask them all sorts of jokes. Now, one of the unfortunate things is also that those 3 kids know how to use it, and they know how to adjust the volume. So there are so many times throughout the day that I have to walk across the room and turn the volume down because it is ear-splitting. Of course, they know how to adjust the volume, and so soon after that, they go to the speaker and turn it back up. It's a back and forth, up and down, until finally we achieve some sort of balance that we all can agree upon. Over the next 6 weeks in the Christian calendar, we are celebrating what is known as Lent. Lent is the 6 weeks leading up to Easter. The name comes from an Old English word that referred to spring, and there's some German in there that refer to long days. If you go all the way back, the history of Lent looks at the story of Jesus when he was tempted in the desert, immediately following his baptism and before he begins his public ministry. And the story goes like this. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights. Afterwards, he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command those stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live on bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to them, "All these things I give you if you will fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. Jesus had just come from being baptized, this incredible moment when God's Spirit descends on him and says, "This is my Son whom I love. With him I am well pleased." But immediately he is met with a different message over and over and over again that creeps into his head not so subtly. If you are the Son of God, if you are, if. You see, in order for Jesus to do what he was about to do, in order to fulfill what God had planned for him, in order to fulfill who he was and what he had come to do, he needed that time to center himself and prepare himself and get clear on what was true and right and what mattered. And so for us, 2,000 years later, Lent is this intentional time for us to slow down and to pursue balance in our lives. Like the speaker in my living room, sometimes that's increasing the volume, sometimes that's adding things in, and other times it's decreasing the volume, bringing things down and taking things out. And so over the next 6 weeks here at the Grove, we're going to be looking at pluses and minuses, things that we can potentially add into our lives to create value, and things that we can potentially take out of our lives to make room for even better things. These are indeed very long days in the year 2021 in the midst of a global pandemic, and of course in this frozen tundra known as Minnesota. But as we go into Lent, as we go into this season, may you know that you are not alone in this. You are joined by people throughout this church and by millions of people across the globe and across history, looking to find balance in their lives and make room for the holy to come in.
Gracious God, we are surrounded by challenges and tests on a daily basis. We are bombarded with negativity through TV, social media, and others, resulting in a culture of blaming, betrayal, and deceit. Much like Jesus was challenged in the wilderness, so we are also challenged to strive to follow your way and live out our mission of making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. We know that transformation starts within our hearts, around our tables, and in our community. We lift up those who are hurting, those who are alone and struggling, that they may find your love and acceptance. Amen.
We are broken, we are bleeding, we are fractured, but we're healing. We'll be whole again by the light of day. This our promise, so we watch and wait. We need to grasp something that's real. The tangible, life-giving God who is here. To sink our teeth into and to wind us down, water to cleanse all we've been through, and ashes to keep us on solid ground. Disconnected, how we fail to find God's own presence in another's eyes. We all cause some pain, we all bear the wounds of the walls we build. us break them through. You never stop making us new. And God, wake us up, shake us up, and bring us back to bread to sink our teeth into, and wine to wind us down, water to cleanse all we've been through, and ashes to keep us on solid ground. From dust we came, and to dust we will return. This flesh and bone be grounded in holy earth. From dust we came, and to dust we will return. This flesh and bone be grounded in holy earth. You are bread to sink our teeth into, and wine to wind us down, water to cleanse all we've been through, and ashes, ashes, bread to sink our teeth into, and wine to wind us down, water to cleanse all we've been through, and ashes to keep us on solid ground. Oh, you keep us on solid ground.
As always, we are thrilled that you joined us. As a church, The Grove seeks to grow goodness, and so we hope that every interaction that you have with us, whether online or in person, is an example of healing, wholeness, and beauty growing in your life. So as we go today, I leave you with 3 things in 1 minute, the 3 most important things for you to know this week. Number 1, Facebook campus. Again, you are not alone, and our Facebook campus is an opportunity for you to gather online with people who are connected to the 5 p.m. service or to the Planting Project. More generally, to find connection and encouragement, you can follow the link below to get connected with that group. Number 2, Lent study. We just kicked off this last week a book study for the season of Lent, looking at the book Love is the Way by Bishop Michael Curry. You might know him from the Royal Wedding just a few years ago. If you want to get connected with that study, it is fully online. We watch videos and then interact in the comments. You can follow the link below in order to participate in that as well. And number 3, giving. God has blessed us with so much, and giving is an opportunity to show our generosity and to multiply what our money can do. You can give to the Planting Project by following the link below or going to theplantingproject.org/give. Now, as we go, may you in this season of Lent, in these long days, find ways, adding in and taking out and making room for the holy to show up.